Hey everybody, welcome to Bravo Confessionals. I'm Taylor, that's Michelle, and that's Mel, and we are here with Ali from Shahs of Sunset, but more importantly from life, and he's just here to share, we're just going to chat, and it's going to get real, and we just really appreciate you coming on and joining us, and also, happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much.
Birthday!
Thank you. I mean, the reunion aired on my birthday, which is happy birthday to me.
Yeah, right? I know, I sent you that message and I was like, oh God, like I got to check on him.
Yeah, it was rough. I couldn't watch it that day. I watched it like the next day.
Good for you. Enjoy your birthday.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kick things off. I just want to ask you one question. When you were sitting down to eat with Reza and Destiney,
Okay.
how aggressive was that? Because it seemed aggressive coming through the TV screen, but I can't even imagine being in that environment.
Wait, with me and Reza and Destiney, that scene? Oh yeah, it was super aggressive. It was just like, combative from, and it just escalated, gotten really heated for no reason. I was very calm. I took a Xanax before that scene because I was like, I don't want to be like instigating anything. And that's how thank God for that, because otherwise I don't know what I would have done, because I don't, I also have a temper. And if I saw somebody like attack me like that normally without my Xanax, then things would have not been that cute.
I am an old friend of Xanax.
Yeah. But I'm also happy the way that I reacted, because he's the one that lost control, and he's the one that just looks like an idiot. And I was definitely the one in control.
Say that did come off to the viewers. I mean, especially I know I could speak for myself. Is that it definitely came off to the viewers that you were more in control. He clearly went off the handle, and you were just like, I can't. What is happening?
Yeah.
But and how did Destiney play any kind of part in that? I know we have a kind of a topic with whether or not Destiney was involved.
Oh yeah, she had a huge part with everything. So I mean, I'm glad to talk about the whole timeline and how it all happened, because I think that's important. It wasn't shown at all exactly what happened. But when I tell you the story, you're gonna see it all. It's gonna all make more sense to the viewers and to everyone that's watching the show that experienced the synopsis of the show and how it all happened. And I'll fill in the pieces that are missing. Because obviously I wasn't given any confessionals, and I wasn't giving any interviews to talk about my side of the story, and that I had a huge part with everything, obviously, and they tried to shut me down and not talk about it because of Reza. So it's
I was gonna
late reaction.
It took me a minute to get it. I was like, oh, there it is.
So,
well, enter Bravo Confessionals, because you can definitely sit down and spill some shit with us.
Yes. So, that the piece of rat, that he is, a piece of rat, not a whole rat. He probably just had a fit that I'm not filming with Ali. If Ali's in the show, I'm not going to do it. And he's the one that had a contract, and I had signed just a regular NDA. To be part of the show, so it wasn't like I had any rights, and they basically pulled me out of the show until Maris comes back after she signs her contract, and then that's when you see me coming back. The whole episodes of the whole thing with Sarah's brother, and they all go to Vegas, and then they go to that strip mall for his hair care line. Was it like a Walgreens? It looked like a Walgreens. It was
like a Sally's Beauty Supply.
Yeah, it was just at a random mall. Yeah, and there was 5 people online trying to buy his product. So anyway, so this is what exactly happened. So before the show started filming, I was talking with Maris and Destiney, because Maris at this point was on bed rest, and so we were always talking, FaceTiming to each other. And it was just constantly every night for hours. We're for an hour or two, we're all talking. And so the 3 of us became really close. And I was talking to them both about what Adam had sent me and how I felt and how he treated me. And it all started as innocent. Like Adam's text messages was innocent in 2017. Then we like earlier of 2017 is when we became friends. And so they, you know, they were innocent at first. It was just funny, like memes and gifs and whatever. And I responded, and I would be like, LOL, haha, funny. Like I would respond back, like, oh my God. And then it just got progressively got more aggressive. And it got to the point where he was making fun of me and my personal life choices with whoever I'm like hooking up with, and degrading me with those text messages saying like, is this you? Like, is this you getting fucked or whatever? I can read some of the text messages later. So you guys can see exactly the tone of the text messages. And it was, you know, it was harassment and it was sexual harassment. It's like definition of. So I had, then him and I had this falling out in like after filming in Vegas in season 7. So we stopped talking. So this is at this point now it's me, Maris and Destiney talking and being friends on, you know, just, you know, on FaceTime or whatever. So I told them both about what Adam had sent me and like about strip jenga and all the other things. I told them everything, and I told them that I feel sexually harassed. This is not okay. So they both knew that I had you know, had a thing to talk about.
And knew at the exact same time.
They both knew. Yeah, they both knew. Neither one of them had seen the text messages. I had not shown either one of them, so they knew that they didn't see the severity of the text messages until later on, where I texted the entire cast with the text messages, so they all saw the same thing. So at that point, you know, then it's February, and filming started in like late March. Okay, so it's February, and Destiny's over at my house, and she's sitting on my couch, and I bring it up again. I'm gonna bring and talk about this, and she's like, "Okay, like, you know, tell me what you want to say." And then I said it, and she practiced what she was going to say back, as far as like when I said something. So she knew at some point I was going to bring it up, and this is what she was going to say. Okay. And she was the one that I even told her, I'm like, why don't I just tell Gulnessa this? Because Gulnessa and Reza are not cool. So why don't I just tell her and then have her do it? And she's a bitch. So she's going to like take it and run with it. So, and she's like, no, don't give this to her. Give this to me and Maris, and we're your friends. We have your back. We're going to be there. So my initial idea about how I was going to bring it up was I was going to be at a group setting with Maris and Destiney there, and they were going to support me, and they're going to talk to me about, you know, like they would have my back basically. But then the whole thing with the bed rest, you know, and then the birth happened. And before she went to the hospital, before Maris went to the hospital, I had a conversation with her. Oh wait, stop. Let's rewind a little bit. So we're back at the couch. So we're back at the couch with Destiney. So she's talking to me like, you know, how what she wants to say. She's like, we're going to plant the seed, water the seed, wash the seed, grow into a plant, water the plant, nourish it, flourish it. These are exact words. So she was saying that. So then I was like, okay, well, she's got this and whatever. Then now it's like my scene with Destiney. That morning of my scene with Destiney, which is my lunch date, she doesn't know that I'm going to bring this up that day. I got a call from Maris and we talked about it, and she said, well, if you want to talk about it, just bring it up now. She hadn't signed her contracts yet, so she wasn't filming, so she was not on the show. And she was like, well, if you want to talk about it, I don't know if I'm coming back or not. Okay. She's like, if you want to talk about it, just talk about it. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to her about it then. She's like, do you think it's a good idea? She's like, yeah, if you want to talk about it, the producers don't know what you're going to talk about, so you're going to talk about it when you have a scene. And that's how things happen, you know. And I'm listening to her advice because she's seasoned and she's been on the show for 8 years. So I'm like, okay, well, if that's how it's done, then I'm going to talk about it. So then I go to my...
Real quick, can I just stop you for a second?
Yeah.
And now as a viewer, we're watching this and she's playing both sides because she's already talked to Reza saying he knows about naked Jenga, and then she's setting this up with you, but you don't know that Reza knows, correct?
No, she had not. She's lying about that. She never told Reza anything. Okay, and I have proof of it. So she's lying. That I'll get to that. So when we get to our lunch date, I bring it up, and she knows exactly what I'm going to say, and that's how she's acting the way that she's acting. She's like, oh my God, like, is that a tingling? Like, is that it tingling? Like, all this stuff. Obviously, it's not Adam's dick. If it's a black guy's dick, I'm showing you. Like, why are you saying that? You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not like, you know, like, it's not like, oh, he happens to be black down there. Like, it's Casper the Ghost everywhere else, but he's black down there. Which I don't think that's. I don't
know. According to Candace from the Real House of Potomac, her husband's a white guy and he's got a black dick. So who knows?
I don't think he's that gifted anyway. Okay, let's just say that. So, anyway, so we are, you know, then she's acting up, and I'm just like kind of taken back, and I'm like, why is she act over dramatic? Because she already knows everything I told her. She's like, oh my God, like acting up, and I'm just like, okay, well that's crazy. So then the scene ends, and then she's like, you fucker, I didn't know you were going to do this to me today. And I was like, well, I talked to Mare. She told me to talk about it. And she's like, okay. Then she comes over to my house and changes for her next scene. So she literally is fine. And she's like, I have your back. You know, this is going to start some shit, but you're my brother. I have your back. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Then it gets to the point where Reza is now, Reza is like flipping out and saying that that she can't lose, like she can't like oh wait, hold on, I have to like, I'm going too fast, sorry. So let me, so this is at the scene, okay? So at end of the scene, so she's at my house, she's like, you fucker, I got your back, blah blah blah, okay? That was a Thursday, okay? So it was like Wednesday or Thursday of that week, okay? It was a week before Coachella, okay? I was going to Coachella. The weekend of Coachella, week 1, was the same weekend that Reza was having his housewarming party, okay? On my way to Coachella, I get a call from one of the producers saying, how did your scene with Destiney go? I'm like, I don't know. I think it went fine. You guys were like, you know, we're into it. Everybody was like, oh my God, you know, whatever. And the guy's like, well, no, like, I don't want that look for you. We want you to be, you know, the fun, nice guy that you are. So I don't want that look. So if you want to talk about it, tell Reza about it. Don't bring Destiney into it. We're going to cut the scene and we're not going to talk about it. Then I text Destiney and I'm like, well, they're going to cut the scene. She's like, okay, well, it's fine. Now we know not to talk about it. So that was a Thursday and Friday. Okay. Now the housewarming party was Saturday. So the whole bullshit that I told Reza that he already knows was all a lie. Like, that's just to cover her ass.
Okay, so that's why Reza didn't look at all surprised when Destiney was like, he was playing naked Jenga.
He was surprised. Like,
Maris knows, and he was like, okay.
No, he was surprised because you could see the interaction that they had with, like, in after everybody left, and he asked Adam point blank, and Adam, like, literally lied. And then he went into the cat room and I, like, closed the door. So he was upset. So, like, obviously neither one of them knew. And that face that he made, like, I know that for a fact that Destiney was like, I never didn't want to bring this up. Could you imagine how I felt after I told him? So then I didn't know that they went with the story until that Sunday when I heard from Destiney that they went with it. And I heard from Golnessa that, you know, I started some shit. And I'm like, what's going on? I thought this was not going to be talked about. But apparently they went with the story because it was too juicy for them not to. So that's how then Destiney was losing scenes with everybody else. And so then she literally flips on me and like starts crawling into Reza's asshole like a gerbil that she is. And she literally is there and just like paying like her rents, like her for having a piece of his rectum, like she's crawled up on me. So that's what you see. So then she says that Maris knows, because Maris does know, right? And so does she, to make herself look less guilty, to make herself look less like of taking responsibility for everything. So then she is like literally flips on me and throws us under the bus. Okay, I didn't even.
At that point, is MJ still not signed as a contract?
Right. So that weekend is when she had her baby. Right. That Monday is when she had her baby, and then Tuesday, Wednesday was the critical, like, things that she almost died. Thursday was she was out of the ICU is when I had my lunch date with Reza and Destiney. So when,
Gotcha.
okay. So that Thursday and Friday, or that Thursday is when we had our lunch date with Destiney and Reza, and Destiney again throws MJ under the bus. I didn't know that she was gonna do that, and then so that's why I was like, I improvised. My improvised line that I said is because I had to, somehow make it less like that she's throwing MJ under the bus. So I said, Maris is worried about you, is looking out for you, and my improvised thing that I said was because of that. Like that's the part that I made up, that she's worried about you, she's looking out for you. That's the part that I made up. So I didn't make up anything else, but they like literally took the word improvised and turned it into that Ali is lying about everything, and I haven't lied about anything. So that is. So I had to be like, MJ was worried about you, and she has told me that you're not happy in your relationship, which she had, and it wasn't any like it wasn't anything like that was out of the blue, because they were talking about divorce, the reunion before, so everybody knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said that MJ is like worried about you. She's my best friend. She's your best friend. She's looking at your best interest. Blah blah blah. And then it turned into like the story changed into like I told Reza that MJ told me to do this, and that was just not the case. Like I wanted to do this. I take responsibility for it because I want to talk about it, because I felt like there was a need to talk about it and bring attention to this. It's like borderline Me Too adjacent when you're getting text messages from another guy that you're both gay and he's just not understanding boundaries. And it wasn't just me, he was doing it to some other people too. The hairdresser that they bring up at the reunion is one of the guys that was complaining to me about Adam and how he also sends him those text messages too, and he makes him uncomfortable. So the text messages that I printed out was of this hairdresser. So that whole thing that like the hairdresser told me about it already, I already knew, that's all lie as well. Like the hairdresser didn't know until after I had brought him into this, and he got mad at me.
So can I ask you a question? Did you actually play naked Jenga?
Oh
Adam?
no, I wasn't there. So
Okay.
I was at Sunday Funday, and what happened was one of my friends is also mutually friends with Adam or whatever. He comes up to me, he says, I'm going to Adam's house tonight. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, Reza's out of town. There's like some strip Jenga game that he wants us to play with some guy. Do you want to come with me? And I'm like, no, that sounds weird. I'm not going anywhere. Like that's not my scene. No. And then he's like, no, like please come. I'm like, absolutely not. So I didn't go. And then so he went, and then afterwards he texts me. He's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm going home. He's like, where? I'm like, where are you? He's like, oh, I went to Adam's. We played strip Jenga, and then I'm coming back. And then I had talked to him too, and he was like, yeah, it was just like whatever, like we're playing strip Jenga. If we had lost one more game, we all would be butt naked. So strip Jenga happened, and like the whole thing, I don't know how you play it because I wasn't there, obviously, and I don't want to be.
Do you feel at all pleased about the fact that Adam said during the reunion that he like regrets sending you inappropriate text messages?
I'm glad that he took accountability for it, but I think it's just a PR move on their part to say that they're doing this, because I don't think that he really doesn't think he did anything wrong. Like that's the point. I think it was just kind of like a PR thing, like, oh, I shouldn't have started it because otherwise he give him some ammunition for him to come after me. So that's why he said it, not because he actually regrets sending those messages.
So you were a big like portion of this reunion.
Why wasn't he there?
Like, did anybody from Bravo reach out to you at all to give any input? Nothing.
No, not unfortunately not. I was like Elise, like Brandy, like everyone else, like that are major stories this season, and they're not part of the reunions. And I was one of those other people that got blocked probably because of Reza not wanting me there, so then he can continue lying and they could attack MJ. And I'm the only person that can really defend her, and I have the facts and I have the proof. So if I had shown up, their whole defense would have crumpled. So there's no way of them to even try to say that, you know, MJ did it. Everything they asked him, MJ did it. MJ knew. Like, are you regretting touching Ali and putting your hands on him and being aggressive? MJ knew about it and didn't. Like, that was his answer. Like, it was.
Why do you think everybody's so scared of Reza?
He's a scary person. He's a scary rat, and he will do dirty things to you. And like, he will like literally affect your life and try to do something that will ruin your life. And you know, people are afraid of that, and they have their position on the show is at stake. So Destiney got scared, and that's why I said she's a weak, scared person, because she really got scared, and she went on this, you know, she literally jumped ship and tried to save herself and tried to distance herself as much as possible from me and MJ. And that's why we all are having an issue now, because the three of us are no longer friends. I don't talk to either one of them at this point. I don't know what happened after the reunion, but ever since, I saw what people saw, so I don't know what else was shown that was edited out on the reunion, so I don't know. And, you know, reunions are tough and they are hard on you, so she's not in a good place. And I mean, I don't blame her. She's been through a lot, but it's really sad that I have lost my friendship with MJ, because I absolutely love her and I adore her and I wish the best for her. And I hope that one day we can be friends again. But at this point, I have no relationship with anyone.
I wonder if that's a stipulation for her to reconcile with Reza.
I mean, come on, who believes that whole thing call was real? Like that, the call at the end of the reunion, that was just.
It just totally. So there's a camera crew there.
Yeah.
Film you.
And he like gets to do work on his laptop. Like, he doesn't work. Like, he's.
Oh,
like,
a phone call.
Yeah. And his bad acting. Oh. Like, it's like this sad Teletubby, like, running around. Like, terrible.
So did you see MJ in the hospital at all? Like, yes. You did?
I went to the hospital that Friday. So Thursday was our scene with Destiney and Reza, and that Friday I went to the hospital. I bought flowers and I saw the baby. Vida was there and Golness's sister was there. So the only other person that showed up was Shervin and Sammy from season 1. Sammy was also.
I love it. I miss Sammy. Yeah. So in the same kind of token with what you were kind of just saying off of, you know, Reza being a scary individual, do you feel like what Tommy did after when he vandalized his house, do you feel like it was kind of justified? Do you blame Tommy?
I mean, everybody has to control their temper and control their actions. So I do believe that he made a mistake, and the way that he acted, he shouldn't have gone to his house and tried to vandalize someone's house, because nothing got solved. It just got things worse. But if given the circumstance of what he went through, his wife just almost died, they just have a newborn, and then here you have this public nasty post on Instagram that got 50,000 likes within the first like hour or whatever, that like people are like and it's spreading like wildfire about your wife who just lost her uterus, lost her fallopian tubes. She can't have any more kids. They wanted to have more kids. That was their plan. Like, they have more eggs, you know, in vitro eggs that they want to fertilize and try to have more babies. And it's sad. And imagine going through this really, really tough pregnancy of being in bed rest and then having a condition where you have to give birth early and then almost dying in the process. Like, it's just a lot for somebody to handle. So I don't blame him that he lost his shit, but he shouldn't have. You know, we all are, and his actions really are what he should be regretting, and he shouldn't. And I feel like Tommy at some point blames me for everything, saying that if I had not said anything, then none of this would have happened and they all would have been fine. But it's just really not fair to put that blame on me when you're the one that took a bat and went to someone's house. You drove there. It's like killing somebody with a gun and be like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just sad. I was upset because
somebody told me something. and I was
Right.
in the room. Right.
You have to be held accountable for your actions, but at the same time, I don't believe the consequences of him going to jail and the 3-year restraining order is really necessary, and it's not going to be something that that poor little like schoolgirl that's so like, you know, sad and like scared in his own little like Teletubby land is supposed to be, you know, like whatever. I literally cannot even like put into words how much dislike and detest I have for this person who is a horrible person, and he has unfortunately has a platform on Bravo and he has a following because he was funny at one season it started, and then it turned into like having him have a major ego and thinking that he's God's gift to this world. I'm sorry, he doesn't represent me as a gay man. He doesn't represent me as a Persian man. And there are way better people out there that Bravo needs to have as a face of their programs, not to give power to this person who is so ugly inside and outside. And you can see every season he does the same antics. And it's just disgusting.
I mean, I've said it from day one. Like, I kind of caught up on all the episodes because I watched this season, but then I caught up on all of the rest of the seasons because I was like, what the fuck am I missing? Like, there's clearly something wrong with the show. So I started watching it, and it was like shocking to me that these are like solid friends. I was happy about that, but they were solid friends who did each other dirty. So it made me question, like, well, what are you doing this for? Are you doing this for like the TV cameras? Are you guys going to be like cool about it on the outside? But like, I didn't understand it. But
you know, the relationship that I have with these people is like you share as much as possible that you want. If you expose, they have the right to expose you, and that's what, you know, the whole thing that he was saying, that you shared and you too much with Ali, because unfortunately, if the situation was reversed and if I were sending text messages to Adam, they would have done the same thing to me.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like they would, for sure, 100%, they would have done the same thing to me. So I just took, you know, I stood up for myself because of the way that he would have been treating me prior to filming. And I just was like sick of it. Like, you don't treat people like that. You just treat people with respect, no matter what position they are in life. It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, what kind of clothes you wear. It doesn't make you a better person. Unfortunately, they think like that, and they think like, you know, oh, I'm on this show and I'm like wearing Gucci. That's where like there's like label vomit all over his body. Like he's wearing like Gucci, Prada, Fendi, and like, you know, put some Dior and like put it all together, and then like he comes out as like this like Teletubby that with labels. So it's
like our shit's from Etsy.
It's like, and listen, you look fucking amazing, okay? And you look good and you look fun. I want to have a drink with you versus like word vomit. Yes, I love it. So yeah, that's how the kind of, you know, it's just unfortunate.
Okay, so I have to kind of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a communion, like confess. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have to confess.
Where are you?
My kid's screaming in the other room, like
he's at the Catholic Church.
like I don't know. So I actually have watched the show thinking MJ was really like the villain, but she's not.
No.
Are you telling me?
Yes, what I'm telling you.
Wow.
The real villain here is Reza and his Frankenstein bride. Like sitting there on the reunion wearing white, like renewing their vows, holding each other's hands so fat, so hard. Like it was just so hard to watch that like this just atrocity that's on TV. And I know the truth of exactly what's going on, and I'm not there to like blow their like lies. They're just literally sitting there lying about things that shouldn't even, like, they're just, oh, it was just so hard to watch.
So is there anything else that you want to add, girls?
Is there anything else you want to add,
I
Ali?
feel like that was a lot.
I know. I'm like, I need a
There's always a lot to talk about. I mean, I'm
And
probably
I'm literally like taking notes, like watching. I'm like, okay, so wait, when did MJ say this? When
Yeah,
did-
like adding it up. So having watched the entire season, as I'm watching these things unfold, I'm not like loyal to anyone. And the more that we do this, the more I'm, the more people that we interview, the more I'm trying to be as slightly neutral and things like that. However, it's really difficult to see, and I've said this to you before, Ali, it's really hard to see people who could have a really like beautiful platform to represent, like I had said to you, who you are as a person, where you come from, what you have done with yourself, with your life. And it's hard to watch as people like that who are genuine and who are just trying to say, listen, this was gross and this was done to me. And just because this person was on here, it doesn't make any of it okay. Right. So it's really hard to see people like you continue to be part of a storyline, but not included.
And I definitely feel like I was used. I was collateral damage. They called me thirsty and all these things. And who's really the thirsty one here? Like, they literally used my life and my story for a season, and then they ran with it. I'm not there to defend myself. I'm not there to talk about it. So I'm literally the one that got screwed over from every angle.
Maybe that's why they kept you in the dark, is because they knew that, like, if he actually got on and spoke his truth, it wouldn't be as juicy.
Well, it would be better. Like, wouldn't you want to hear? I mean, I feel like the season was poorly produced because a whole chunk of the story is missing. I mean, as a viewer, I know the truth, and I'm like, this is very relevant. It's so important for viewers to know my side of the story too, because it's just so important if it's an entire season of it and everyone's talking about it. So why isn't my side, my voice heard, and only parts of it are shown to like paint a picture of me being like this thirsty stalker friend that's not like, I was actually friends with these people. Like, I was a really good friend to MJ. I was a really good friend for Destiney. I was there for them so many times. And look at how I've ended up. Like, it's just really sad.
It is sad. You were at the hospital with MJ after that baby was born. You know who wasn't? Reza.
Right.
It's like a vague book post. It's like when someone puts out on Facebook, I'm so mad at you. I can't believe that you did this. How dare you send me these text messages? And then post. And then everyone on the timeline is like, I was just texting with her. Wait, is she talking about me? Like, it starts this fire without anyone actually knowing. So the entire season was just kind of like, okay, yeah. All right, we get it. There were these messages and stuff. Okay, first of all, can we see them? Because we always get receipts, right? Supposedly somewhere. And second of all, can't we have like a little bit of like a confessional with him so that, Ali can like tell us like details and maybe there can be like a showdown and
absolutely. I think
start over with like Mob Wives or something, because you would have gotten like a sit down with like some epic backgrounds, music, and it would have been
unfortunately, you guys didn't see my personality. I'm very fun and I'm very funny and I like to joke around, and you don't get to see that. It's really sad because I'm not like, I'm just like MJ. We have the same type of personality. I feel like, she's like the female version of me, and we are so much fun together, and we have so much fun together when we are like just together and cracking jokes and just laughing. And that's the part that I wanted to be part of. And I wanted to talk about my mom, and my mom is going through like, she's sick and she has, and it's just one of the things that I envy about MJ all the time. And I tell her this is her memories that she has with her father on the show that's captured forever. And I wanted to, to have that option for myself until my mom is alive, so I can have something for the show and talk about her. And to tell the world what an important woman she is and how much she has done for me and my sister. But I never got to do any of that because I was literally used for a story, like eaten up by a bunch of like rats, and now I'm like thrown out like yesterday's garbage. Like, it's really sad to actually go through this and be very public about it and not have a voice. Unfortunately, the network didn't give me a voice. The producers didn't give me a voice, and I'm just literally, I gave them a big juicy story for a season, and they had nothing else besides this. What did they have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Mike would be the same broken record, with a new season, different girl. Okay, that's like how Mike work does, and like he just has like Shabbat dinners with just different girl. I mean, if you just take like, you know, those apps that you can like put like people's faces on. So like I would want to like film the same same scene and just take out their faces and put like Paulina's face on there. Nothing changes. It's the same thing. Like literally every season is the same story. They have Shabbat dinner and the girl is cooking and he says, "I love you" to her like 50 times.
There's a new project. We're doing a new project.
Right. Last year was gold, like whatever his stupid shoe line was. The year before that was like, it was a moving company. And then the year before that, like, I mean, it's just like, whatever.
This year they have a YouTube.
What now? Exactly. Now. And like, it's just crazy to me. And Bravo is just like, you know, giving Paulina a platform, unfortunately. It's like, oh, I saw an article the other day saying like, Paulina, Shahs of Sunset newcomer and Mike's girlfriend. Like, I'm like, she's a newcomer now? Like, she was just like a season. Like,
well, by the way, we've been picked up by Us Weekly. We've been picked up by so many others that you might be the newcomer.
I mean, I don't honestly like if this gets picked up by anyone and people hear my voice. I hope so. If Us Weekly is listening, I would like to do an interview with you. Please get my voice out, like, because I have a lot to say. There's like, I mean, it's just crazy that I was literally just thrown into this, like, just and these were my friends. Like, these are my friends that I did everything for. Like Destiney, I would go see houses for, and I would record them and send them to her because she was too busy filming and she wanted to move. Like, I would make appointments with realtors and go see them and record them for her and send it to her. Who fucking does that for someone else? Like, no one does it for me. Like, no one's ever done that for me. Like,
there could be an entire franchise of everyone who has been cast off from Bravo, who has contributed in a monumental way, but not been given the time of day. And y'all could just have your own damn show and just be like living.
I say we put them in the Big Brother house.
oh my God, I love Big Brother.
Real life.
Today, I'm so excited.
Ollie, a couple people watch us, okay? Quite a few people watch us. So
I wanted to actually read you guys some, like, since like they're saying that it's not sexual harassment, I'm gonna read some of the text messages.
Oh,
if you guys want.
Yeah.
Adam sent me. And, like, you tell me if they are or not sexual harassment. Okay. So this is one of them. So January 18th, 4:04 p.m. Okay, this is 2018. He sends me a picture of this guy and he has a massive dick. Okay. And I say, Jesus. Okay. And then he's like, I'm sure there's a video of you and him, and I know you wouldn't turn him away. Be like, what's your name? And then before he can answer, his cock is in your mouth. And then I send an emoji, like a eye roll emoji response. Like, okay, thank you.
good joke.
And then he responds to that, you're right, it's more believable if it's in your booty hole. Ha 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 ha. And I'm like, you are so, that's just weird. And I'm like, I don't talk to my friends like that. I don't talk to my gay friends like that. So when Andy's like, oh, I have friends send me this, he doesn't get these kind of text messages. I know the kind that Andy gets, and I get them too, and I send those too. It's funny, but not this kind where he's actually degrading you and putting you down. And so that was January 18th, 4 p.m. So January 18th, 6 p.m., he sends me 2 more stills of porn images, and he says, oh my God, girl, someone is leaking stills from your video. Like, I don't even respond because I'm just like, we just had this conversation 2 hours ago where you tried to make fun of me. You're doing it again. You know what I mean?
Were you there for that? Like, Adam, were you there?
Like, and then so he sends me another one. And then I don't respond. And he says, not impressed. Don't respond. January 15th, 5 p.m. Can you take this black guy with a link to a porn? I don't respond. January 16th, 5:45 a.m. Morning. and it's like monstermeat.tumblr.com. So I'm like, some guy getting fucked, sending another porn. And I'm like, don't respond. I just don't respond because I'm just like, the more I talk about it, the more he thinks it's funny. At first it was funny. It was like normal. And then it turned into like things like he's making, it about like me and my sex life and calling me a whore. I'm single. I could do whatever the fuck I want. You're the one that's married, that's using the gym. You're the one that's touching other people's dicks. You're the one that's like, having strip jenga when your husband's away. I'm single. If I want to have sex with 15 people in one day, I can.
Bless
That's
it.
your God-given right.
Honey, you do damn.
Put it on my tab.
Yeah, like whatever.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you spilling that with us because there were certain things that people saw that he had like this massive like thing of text messages, but you never really knew what they were.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying. It's sexual harassment. People don't really understand it. They're brushing it off as like, oh, it's just gifts and jokes and memes, and he sends it to everybody. He sends it to Mike. He sends it to me. If you talk to your husband like that, go for it. That's fine. If it gets you off. If you talk to Mike like that, I doubt Mike is getting messages like, would you want this in your booty hole? Like, do you want this in your face? Like it's just a lot. Like there's other ones that are like just so gross, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's so gross. Like it's just like ratchet to a degree.
That would
Have
just
you
make
ever,
Yeah.
Have you ever, when he did send you any of those text messages or anything like that, did you ever say like, dude, this is making me a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, I did. I told him in person. I was like, listen, stop. It's making me uncomfortable. He would send them to me at work, and I would open them up, like thinking it's just like a regular text message, and it was like dicks flying around, and like people are like walking by my phone, and they see that I have like porn on my phone. I have a really important job, and I don't want to be like looked down as somebody that's being inappropriate at work in the workplace, especially if I'm a boss and I'm trying to have a career, and I'm walking by, and like my subordinates are looking at me like, what is he doing on his phone? Like that's just inappropriate. And I told him like, don't send it to me. If you're gonna send shit like this to me, do it when I'm not at work. And then he would do it like before or after I was at work. Like I was just like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. And then I was like, stop sending me, like stop. And then the hairdresser said the same thing. Like he was like telling him to stop doing this. And him and I had a conversation. And he was like, I just get really uncomfortable, like, and it just makes me like, he doesn't understand, and whatever. So that was the case with the text messages. And I told him, and there's another one that there's 4 like really gross memes sent back to back, like one after another. And he's like, are any of these are yours? And I'm like, stop it. It's not cool. That was like the last time. And then we went to Vegas, and then had our Vegas fight, and that was, everything stopped because we weren't friends anymore.
If my husband had a male friend and he were sending, grotesque pictures of women and suggesting, things like that, because it's kind of like the same area, sexual preference and things like that, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
it's just weird. And Reza says it too. Reza was like, I don't know what weird fetish you have. You need to stop talking to people. Why are you asking your friend some really gross, disgusting sexual questions? Like, and I would just like laugh it off. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do besides talking about it? They were like, why don't you just block him? And I'm like, well, you can't just block somebody that's in your friends group. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, then it's just awkward.
Yeah, I'm going to see you over, croutons one time at a party or something. Be like, yeah, oh shit, haven't gotten anything. So okay, so I fucking blocked you. Like, it's just
your messages are going green. What's going on? I'm like, oh.
By the way, before anyone mentions that, croutons are fucking delicious, and they should always be served as accoutrement at any party. Okay, thank you. Just all the croutons.
Well, I said it from like almost the beginning, is that once I saw it all kind of pan out, is that I felt like Adam was the root cause.
Yeah.
And just got caught into it because Adam was being inappropriate as a married man. You got thrown into it, and instead of anybody actually addressing the elephant in the room, they just decided to go for you, somebody who doesn't actually have able to have a voice to combat what they're saying.
It's just easier for them to not take accountability for their actions. Okay, so they're not taking accountability. It's like, my husband did something wrong. Instead of saying, thank you, Ali, for bringing this to my attention, I will have a conversation with him. And then that's it, end of it. And instead of like trying to point the finger as to who done it, it turned into actually like what was the cause of all of this, turned into something else, which is what we saw about who done it and who's responsible for putting me up for it. I take responsibility for it. I wanted to talk about it. That's it. I brought it. It was my idea. I wanted to talk about it. And Destiney and MJ were my supportive friends.
But what is okay, so my issue is, what's the there shouldn't be an issue with talking about it. It's like they turn the real issue into a he said, who said issue. And that's not, the problem is not who told who what, or who is spilling what when. The problem is the actual issue that Adam is inappropriate on multiple facets of a marriage.
It's comparable to, and I'm not calling you a victim, but it is comparable to blaming the girl who gets raped because of what she was wearing.
Thank you. No, I thank you. That's just a really like a clear dot that you just connected. Like,
as a survivor of, I can say it wasn't what I was wearing, and it's not the fact that you are talking about it. I'm talking about it because it happened to me. So thank you.
I'm so sorry that that happened to you, and
woof,
it's a lot of courage for you to talk about it. And
he's probably dead in a gutter somewhere. Who even knows?
He's out back.
Yeah,
6 feet down.
But no, it's the same thing. It's like blaming, you know, a woman. I mean, shit, it doesn't even have to be full-blown attack. It could just be a guy pinching a girl on her butt because she's wearing shorts. It's like, it's not the shorts that's the problem. Thank you.
Right. And you know, all of this started, to be honest, so I had my friendship with Adam started, we were friends on Facebook, like not like, because I met him at some birthday party dinner, and he was like sitting across from me, and he was like 9 people there. So we started talking and became friends on Facebook. And then I had posted like a shirtless selfie of myself, and he like started messaging me and he was like, hey, you want to go to Palm Springs with me and my husband and MJ? And that's how I met MJ, is because I went to Palm Springs with them, and that was the first weekend I hung out with everybody. So Adam brought me into the group, and then I became friends with everyone because I'm really easygoing and I can get along with anyone, really. So, and then he started having a problem with me being friends with everyone, saying that I'm trying to like take his friends and trying to like socially climb, and the bullshit with like being on the show and all that crap. Like I was interviewed by like producers twice to be on part of the show. So it wasn't like, you know, they weren't interested or whatever. Like I was interviewed twice to be on season 7 and season 8.
Which is kind of funny because I feel like Adam has done this before. What was the last guy's name that
Sasha.
he brought on the show? What was his name?
Sasha.
Sasha. Yes, he did the exact same thing where Reza came home and said, who are you? And why are you in my living room? And then all of a sudden this man was just around that he did the exact same thing.
And he became
he had interviews. I didn't even get interviews. Like
this is the only interview that matters.
like I'm like, how does I actually they were I was watching the reruns. They were playing that season, and I was like, and I saw like a 30 minutes of it because I was just like, it's really hard for me to watch them on screen, like because I have so much like for these people. Like I really don't like them anymore. And to see that, I was just like kind of like, oh wow, they've changed so much from that year. But then I saw like Sasha come on and do like an interview, and I'm just like, okay, Sasha, who was on like for like maybe like 10 minutes ever.
Seconds.
Yeah, and they only talked to him about like one little thing that happened. They had a fight in a bar. He gets a confessional, and I don't. Like when the whole season's about me.
It's because you have too much to say.
And I'm, unfortunately, the thing is, like, I'm intelligent. I'm articulate, and I can say whatever I want to say and say it the way that matters. And it's a threat to Reza, and Reza doesn't like that. So he will pull all the strings and will do whatever he can to not get me on the show. And he's like admitted to that he doesn't want me on the show.
All right.
That's awful.
Well, we
My phone just
really appreciate you coming here and talking to us and just speaking your truth. And if you ever want to do it again, we are always here. We'd
Thank
love
you.
to hear from you. We will never judge you. We will appreciate you, and we humanize you because that's the world we live in. Everybody's a fucking person. They all help me.
Everyone is a fucking person. I just felt like used collateral damage, unfortunately, and it's just really sad.
we agree.
Yeah, that's a shame, and I'm sorry you never got the opportunity to speak your voice, but hopefully people will hear you. And I also wanted to say that I really hope your mom's story gets heard, because I already, like, I want to know more, and I'm actually going to send you a message after this because I have an idea. But anyway.
I already thought about it. I thought about it when you were saying it.
I appreciate that, and I hope that if you guys do hear from me, like, it's in a more positive way. I don't want to be like this negative, toxic, like, weasel that they make me look like, a stalker, thirsty person, because I'm really not that kind of person. And I try to be a good person to all my friends and everyone that comes into my life, and that's what I was trying to do with with Nurse and Destiny, and even Golnessa. Like, I've been really good friends to everybody. So it's just unfortunate that this happened, and it's Hollywood, and it's how things happen here, and it's unfortunately it's film and TV business, and I'm in healthcare, so I have no idea.
I'm
back, so it was kind of like,
I hope that you and MJ do, down the line, because we can all tell that, like, you love her. You truly love her. And I really hope that at some point, whether it's not this year, 5 years from now, but you guys can rekindle and just reconnect and really make that work. But I know Mel's phone is dying, and
it literally was like, pew, pew, pew. No.
So, but we will absolutely talk to you soon, Ali, and thank you again for coming on and just chatting with us. We so appreciate
you. It was such a pleasure meeting you all. It was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks. We'll talk soon.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.
I'm ready if you're ready. So much love in this heart of mine.